Imagine for a moment a time before the Garden of Eden, a period lost to the mists of time where the earth was inhabited by powerful beings, spirits of light and darkness. Who were these beings? What happened to them? And why does their story matter for us today? In the book of Enoch, we meet an array of divine figures, known as the sons of God. They are introduced in the book of Genesis as the offspring of heavenly beings. However, the Bible reveals that many of these beings strayed from the righteous path, succumbing to pride and rebellion. But there's more to their story. As we delve deeper, we find that these beings once held positions of authority and influence over the earth, shaping its course until their actions led to their downfall. So who exactly are these enigmatic sons of God? Before addressing that question, let's consider another enigmatic figure, Lucifer. He is hailed as the embodiment of light, the bearer of morning radiance, and his fall is depicted as a cataclysmic event. But what sparked his descent from such lofty heights? The answer lies in Ezekiel 28:3, where we learn that Lucifer's heart became lifted up because of his beauty. He adorned himself with many jewels and occupied the highest place in heaven. Yet despite his grandeur, he harbored a desire to ascend even higher, to reach the heavens. Like a shooting star, he hurtled toward the celestial realm, determined to make himself like the Most High. However, God thwarted his ambitions, hurling him down to the ground. Thus, Lucifer's journey from magnificence to disgrace serves as a stark reminder of the perils of pride and ambition. His story illustrates that even those who hold positions of power and influence are not immune to the corrosive effects of pride. In Isaiah 14:12-13, we read that Lucifer exclaimed, "I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above the stars of God. I will preside on the throne of the gods in the far north. I will be like the Most High." However, his audacious plan was foiled and he became a fallen angel. One of the most compelling aspects of Lucifer's narrative is how his fall is intricately linked to the ruin of the earth. In Isaiah 14:16-17 he declares, "I will make the earth as desolate as Eden before the days of Noah. While the sun is like wool and the fields like a stalker, I will bring darkness on that land, and the people who dwell there and cover the face of his land with gloom. I will bring him to ruin, overthrow his princes, and make his land desolate, and he shall be destroyed forever." These words paint a grim picture of devastation and destruction. Lucifer's hubris did not just affect his own fate, but threatened the very fabric of creation. The mention of Eden evokes the biblical narrative of the first creation, suggesting that his rebellion aimed at nothing less than the undoing of divine order. This portrayal of Lucifer raises profound questions about the nature of good and evil. Was his fall a necessary catalyst for the emergence of evil, or was it a free choice driven by unbridled ambition? Furthermore, the idea that the sun becomes like wool and the fields like a stalker alludes to a dramatic alteration in the natural order, perhaps hinting at a catastrophic event that reshaped the earth. This imagery resonates with modern scientific theories about drastic climate shifts and mass extinctions, suggesting a connection between Lucifer's fall and profound ecological changes. Interestingly, the Book of Enoch provides additional details about Lucifer's fall, describing a cosmic war in the heavens. According to this narrative, Lucifer led a rebellion against the divine order, aligning himself with a third of the angels and attempting to usurp God's throne. Ultimately, he and his followers were cast out of heaven, hurled down to the earth. This vision of a fallen angel suggests that Lucifer's fall was not an isolated event, but part of a larger struggle between those who remained faithful to God and those who sided with Lucifer. It paints a picture of a cosmic battle for supremacy, with the fate of creation hanging in the balance. In the context of discussing Lucifer's fall, it is crucial to examine the concept of the gap between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. This gap theory proposes that there was an ancient glorious world that existed prior to the Genesis account, and that it was destroyed due to rebellion and divine judgment. This idea challenges traditional views of Genesis, suggesting that the creation we know today is not the first, but rather a restoration after a cataclysmic event. Genesis 1:2 states, "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters." The Hebrew word was in this passage can also mean became, implying a transition from a once-ordered creation to chaos and ruin. This suggests that a catastrophic event likely tied to celestial rebellion occurred before the creation narrative resumes. The notion of a pre-Adamic world is further supported by Jude 1-6, which refers to the angels that sinned, specifically mentioning Sodom and Gomorrah. The Book of Enoch provides more insight, describing the actions of the sons of God, who saw the daughters of men and desired them, taking human wives and having children by them. These unions resulted in the birth of the Nephilim, a race of giants. In Genesis 6:2-4, we read, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown." This passage indicates that the Nephilim were not mythological creatures, but real beings who populated the earth before the flood. The mention of a time afterward suggests that the union between the sons of God and the daughters of men continued even after the initial flood. highlighting an ongoing problem of spiritual corruption. These beings are described as giants, implying that they possessed physical strength and stature far beyond that of ordinary humans. The fact that they are referred to as men of renown suggests that they were known and feared throughout the ancient world, leaving behind a legacy that has endured through stories and legends. Furthermore, the Book of Enoch expands on the story of the Nephilim, attributing their creation to the fallen angels who rebelled against God. These fallen beings, unable to return to heaven, sought to establish their own dominion on earth through alliances with human women. This narrative suggests that the Nephilim represented a resurgence of the ancient rebellion, a renewed attempt to corrupt and dominate creation. The existence of the Nephilim serves as a backdrop for understanding the significance of the flood in Genesis 6-9. The narrative indicates that God judged this corrupt world through the Great Flood, wiping out the Nephilim and other inhabitants of the earth. This act of divine judgment was not only a response to the wickedness of humanity, but also an intervention to stop the spread of corruption caused by the union between the sons of God and human women. The Genesis account indicates that after the flood, the earth was renewed, and humanity had a fresh start. However, the story of the sons of God and their offspring foreshadows the continued struggle between good and evil, reminding us that the battle for the hearts and minds of humanity is not over. The narrative of the fallen angels, as found in the Book of Enoch, provides further insight into the origins of this spiritual conflict. These accounts describe a war in heaven where a group of angels, led by the fallen Lucifer, rebel against the divine order. This rebellion resulted in the expulsion of the fallen angels from heaven and their confinement to the earth. According to this narrative, the fallen angels were imprisoned in a dark abyss, preventing them from interfering in human affairs. However, their presence on earth left an indelible mark, contributing to the spread of corruption and wickedness. The idea of a pre-Adamic world provides a compelling perspective on the origins of evil and suffering. If Lucifer and the sons of God corrupted the earth before Adam's creation, it suggests that humanity's story began in a world already marred by spiritual decay. This challenges the traditional view of Adam and Eve as the sole cause of evil, offering a broader theological understanding of the forces that shape human history. In summary, the stories of Lucifer, the sons of God, and the Nephilim shed light on a hidden history that predates the creation of Adam. They reveal a cosmic conflict between good and evil, with far-reaching implications for our understanding of the world and our place in it. By exploring these narratives, we gain insight into the nature of spiritual rebellion, the consequences of pride and ambition, and the divine plan for restoration and redemption. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you surprised by what you learned in this video? If so, share your thoughts and reactions. If you want to go deeper into similar topics, check out the videos mentioned in the description. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Thanks for watching.